Hello and welcome to the Marlin Popcast. Today, spooky things happen. Dr. Stu Minnis, Chair of Media and Communication, discusses the recent EA buyout by Saudi Arabia.
Off the heels of that, we'll be talking about the recent EA works, including the new skate game.
We also interviewed students about their favorite Halloween candies.
Oh no, what's that?
Ghosts. The views expressed in this podcast are not representative of the Marlin Chronicle or Virginia Wesleyan University. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Marlin Popcast. Today, we are recording on Halloween night at 3 in the morning. And so, oh, the lights just went out. Yeah, this is kind of creepy, guys. What's going on? Why are the lights out?
Check the lights. Yeah, I mean, I didn't turn them off, but...
Okay, well... Oh! No, Lily's being attacked by ghosts.
Shame.
Or something. Saudi Arabia bought Electronic Arts. Of course, a company that makes a lot of games. So what does that, in general, just mean for...
It means a lot of things. It's very strange. I'm not much of a gamer myself, so I know what some of the concerns from gamers are, but I think from my perspective, the more interesting part of the story is kind of like the international commerce and trade aspects of it, right? So you've got this game company, the biggest American game company until a few years ago, the biggest game developer in the world, a corporation, so publicly owned corporation, being bought by a kind of consortium that was dominated by the Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which is basically the state, a state equities fund. We don't have anything like that in the U.S., but lots of countries do, where the state invests a certain amount of money into corporations and companies all over the world, and that's part of their income. So you have the Saudi Public Investment Fund doing most of the financing, but it was also a consortium with an American technology-focused private equities firm called Silver Lake Partners, and kind of strangely with another private equities firm called Affinity Partners that's owned by Jared Kushner, who's Donald Trump's son-in-law. So the entanglements here are just pretty weird. And it's just strange that they basically, I'm not a conspiracy theorist about it, but it is unusual for a public corporation to be bought out and turned back into a privately owned company with a stock buyout. I think I read that the total sale price was $55 billion. And the buyout price is $210 a share. So like if you own 100 Electronic Arts shares, you're getting, what was that, $21,000 in buyout. So it's weird that an American company, a public company, got bought by equity consortium that included the Saudi state. People are understandably, I think, concerned about the possibility of censorship of content, right? Because the Saudis own the majority of that equity stake. So they have a certain amount of say over what they're going to produce and how they're going to produce it and what kind of content they're going to allow and what kind of interactions they're going to allow. Most of Electronic Arts cash cows are sports games that they have affiliations through major leagues with, right? So, the PGA games and NFL games and Madden football and what used to be called the FIFA series, but is now called something else. I can't remember. That's where most of their money is, but they also have a bunch of money in kind of. I know there's a term for this among gamers, but I don't know it. Where games that are kind of constantly being fed new content.
Live service.
Yeah, live service games. That's the word I'm looking for. And the biggest example of this for EA is the Sims franchise. Mm-hmm. So, and The Sims is the kind of game where you can imagine content censorship considerations. So, again, I'm not being paranoid. I don't know what will come of this. But I think it's a legitimate concern. The Saudi state seems to be going out of its way to try to bring more Western media interaction, to invest more in Western media, and also to bring more of it in. I don't know if that's a liberalizing tendency or if it's purely just an economic decision. You might have heard, I think it was last month, there was a big comedy show in Riyadh where a bunch of Western comics, including Dave Chappelle and I can't remember who else, but I know Dave Chappelle was part of it. We're doing a big, kind of stand-up mega show in Riyadh. So the Saudi government seems to be making these entrees into kind of more interaction with Western popular culture, and this seems like part of that. It's also their effort to try to diversify their state public investment fund because, they've been dependent on fossil fuels for almost all of their state revenue for the past 100 years. And, well, not quite technically 100 years, but you know what I mean, close enough. And in a world of climate change, they're becoming more and more aware that they need to diversify their assets. Because that's a lot of money to spend for a game developer. $20 billion of that is deficit financing, not paid up front. They're making a big investment here. As to whether it'll pay off, I don't know. Another thing for gamers is that it's easy to see them forget about the censorship, just kind of milking it. Lots and lots of raising the prices on DLC, lots of pay-to-win kind of stuff. Just doing all the things to monetize income on the games as much as possible. That's not always the greatest strategy because, gamers get sick of that stuff and move on to other developers. But as long as they control the contracts with the major international sports leagues, it's really hard to get around that block. So I don't know.
The sports leagues based in America in a lot of the EA games, I've been wondering what the implications of that are going to be, or if they're going to keep. I'm sure they would keep making American league games, but it just seems like a strange relationship.
Sure it is.
Saudi Arabia is then going to be making.
Sure it is, but I think sports has always been international, but it's becoming increasingly international, right? So we think of Madden football and their other kind of football, basketball, hockey, baseball related games as the ones that are kind of like the main ones, but the FIFA one is the biggest one, right?
Yeah.
Because it's soccer, and it's not hard to imagine, right? It's not hard to imagine the degree to which Saudi Arabia wants to use sports as part of that diversification of their kind of interaction with the West and popular culture, or you might better say just like globalization. I think a good example, I don't know how this might affect Electronic Arts. I don't know if they have any relationship with F1, but F1 has been getting increasingly popular in the US, where that used to be thought of as a European and Asian thing. Now it's increasingly popular in the US. So I think that these like older ideas of national boundaries around things like American football or baseball, those are kind of starting to, I don't want to say they're fading away, but they're less, they're not as tall a hurdle as they used to be, right? So even if, say, the NFL were to say, oh, and I can't imagine that they would do this, but if the NFL decided to discontinue their contract agreement with EA because of this, I don't think that would be a major problem for EA.
Probably not. They have a lot of other.
I mean,
sources.
the Madden football series is a really significant part of their brand, but it's certainly not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Far from it.
Sorry about that.
I have been on the phone for 30 minutes with you people.
Sorry about that. Logan's trying to get the ghost exterminators. Lily is still
No,
under
no.
massive stress.
Who is that?
This is worse than a haunted house, guys. This is horrible. Wow.
Wow.
They had 2 new releases, one of which being Battlefield 6, which has been a pretty good success for the last few weeks. And Season 1 comes out today, and they're planning to have microtransactions as of an hour from now.
Okay, is this like a? I don't know much about it. Is it like a multiplayer online game?
It's one of those long-running first-person shooters from
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And they had another release of the new Skate 4. I don't know what they call it. Just Skate, the game.
Okay.
Which also has abundant microtransactions, which is another huge success from the early 2000s.
Right.
How do you think that'll affect those? Because there were talks about cutting content or possibly shifting away from development.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know. I know that this is an almost embarrassing example to bring up. I mentioned it in briefly in passing in I think when you took 101 with me last semester, is that I'm really interested. A game that really fascinates me because it was so different from others is Baldur's Gate 3. And one of the things that I think was so interesting about it was that the studio that developed it just flat out rejected the idea that they were going to do microtransactions, paid DLC, stuff like that. And online, I saw a bunch of really positive reaction to that. Gamers get pissed off when you spend $60 on a game, and then every time you turn around, you're being asked to put in a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. The degree to which microtransactions kind of take advantage of younger players to I think of it as almost like a drug dealer. It's like, here, play this fun game, kid. We'll let you play for free, but if you want to play more, you got to pay. And I think a lot of gamers have very little patience for that. So if they push that button too hard, and a lot of people would say EA's already doing it too hard, then that's. It's like a streaming service, continuing to raise its prices over and over and over, and at some point people are going to say, no thanks.
Yeah, Larry and the developers for Baldur's Gate, they released a full set of story patch notes later on and stuff, and they added free mod support to almost every console they added to, which is really unheard of.
Yeah.
And they won Game of the Year and all sorts of stuff.
Right. That's one of the things that's so interesting about that game is that it really bucked industry trends, and people really celebrated the fact that it bucked those industry trends that they found increasingly annoying and insidious.
Yeah. We'll have to see, I guess, later if Battlefield follows the same route, because they were losing a lot of money because their last 2 games are kind of failures because of microtransactions and following trends.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that so far, but not as much nearly, but we'll see. I know Skate is, and with Battlefront back in 2016,
Yeah.
there was loot boxes and stuff, and kids were paying for them and using their parents' credit cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wait, is Fortnite an EA game also?
Epic Games.
Okay, but Epic isn't owned by EA.
No, they're their
No.
own independent
Okay.
companies.
Okay.
Yeah. But they definitely contributed very much so to this whole microtransaction.
Yeah.
Back in
Yeah,
2018.
but their
and
live
stuff like that.
service doesn't require you to pay for anything to play,
Right.
though.
It's all aesthetic.
Some of the games very much like you.
You just can't
Hey.
play unless you're continually
Yeah.
feeding the.
Gaijin's a bad developer who does that. They have 2 games worth under it listed, who most gamers probably know. You pay for everything in that. Like,
Yeah.
you want to get something better, you pretty much pay for it. Otherwise, you're stuck grinding for like over a year on end trying to get one thing.
It's basically like glorified mobile games at this point.
Yeah.
And,
Or
Yeah.
how all that works.
or Bungie with Destiny, where you pay like $60 for 12 hours of new content, and then it comes out another 3 months later for another one, and another 3 months later.
Yeah, and then they got to the point where there isn't even a normal campaign without.
Yeah, they got rid of the
DLC.
original campaign.
I don't even know. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big gamer, so I don't. The world of video games that I grew up in, you bought a title, you played it until you were sick of it, and then you moved on, right? And this idea that you would just be kind of stuck with a game and that you're constantly feeding the till to keep playing it just seems bizarre to me, but maybe I'm just an old dude who needs to catch up with the times.
I mean, when we were growing up, the only time like that you really paid for something was like you paid for like $15 for like 4 maps in a zombies thing for Call of Duty or something like that, or pay for some Skyrim DLC. You could thank Oblivion for that, for adding the first DLC with horse armor. But we paid mostly for our games and got them.
The most interesting pay-to-play to me in my childhood was playing Skylanders. I don't know if either of you have heard
the
of it.
physical.
You had to like buy the physical character and put it on the portal, and then you could play as that character.
Oh, is this like those little Nintendo figurines
they got
kind of
after,
thing?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which that like
It worked. I bought all
kinda-
of them.
it's the same principle, but it's way different.
But it was different. You bought those to go like so they'd save the data on the characters. So if you went to your friend's house and you wanted to play at your friend's house, which is what a lot of us did, you would have your character with all the saved data on your friend's house.
Yeah.
Unless you had a
Yeah.
real little statue you could put on your shelf or something, not everything on the TV.
I mean, it always, I guess it surprises me, but it shouldn't surprise me how much people are willing to put up with if they really like a game.
Yeah.
So maybe if EA goes like incredibly hard on the microtransactions, maybe it'll be fine.
There was supposed to be a boycott for it. It didn't last very long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, wait until they start doing something before you boycott it.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen for this. I mean, it might be better. They don't have but one of the problems with corporate ownership is that you've got shareholders saying, I don't care about the quality of the games, I just want my dividend check to be high, right? So private ownership might be a good thing for the brand. Who knows?
Because I remember when Battlefield 2042 came out in 21, it was so horrible. I bought it, thinking it'd be alright, but people were like, I'm not going to pre-order the new game. And then, like, lo and behold, the new Call of Duty sucked. And new Battlefield trailer came out. People were like, I'm pre-ordering now. I can't wait any longer. It's like they didn't take much to break their morals on not pre-ordering the game.
Yep.
And now the game they could very much just like do whatever they want with it because there's like 500,000 people on their first day.
Yeah. I wonder how many people who canceled their Disney Plus after the Jimmy Kimmel thing got it back within a week because they're like, yeah, but I really want to watch X, Y, or Z.
Same thing with Spotify.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, I'm not going to listen to it because of their advertisements. And they're like, oh, well, I have nowhere else to go, so I'm just going to keep listening to it. It's like there are other alternatives. Like you could,
Yeah.
And the Disney movies, I mean, hope this doesn't get us in trouble. We could just pirate half of them or like buy the disc.
I mean, that's true of most things, but yeah, I don't know. One of the other things that's like generationally different is the move toward more and more where you functionally don't buy the thing, you basically lease it. If you're not getting a physical copy of a thing, you're functionally just saying, I want to use this for a while. And, you know, if it's music that you paid Apple Music for, buried deep in that agreement is but if we need to take it back for some reason, like we lose rights to that catalog, then you no longer own it. You just happened to have leased it for a while.
Yeah, I've had that with a lot of music.
Yeah,
I could look at like security album. There's nothing there.
It's true of anything where you don't buy the physical medium. So any stream that you have, any streaming service you have access to, it's true of any It's true of any kind of digital content where you don't have. I know DVDs and the like seem incredibly old-fashioned, but if I buy one, nobody's going to walk into my home and pull it off the shelf. That's a totally different thing than this kind of ephemeral leasing agreement where nobody ever owns anything, even though they're quote-unquote paying for it.
Yeah, like Pirate Software says, you should never own games or something stupid like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm strange and still buy DVDs and vinyls and CDs and all that, just because that means I have it forever.
Yeah.
I buy like 2 vinyls per song I have downloaded, so I have like extra copies of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just got off the phone with the Ghost Exterminator people, and I just spent a lot of money, roughly 20% of our budget. So
God,
$1,800. I really hope that investment was worth it.
Is he gone now?
So Brennan and I interviewed some students in the grill of the Baton Student Center, and I was wearing an inflatable chicken costume the whole time, and Brennan attempted to have a rubber horse mask on, but it ripped in half. So instead, I was running around as a chicken, talking to everybody, asking them what their favorite Halloween candy is. So, to start it off, one person said that their favorite candy was a whatchamacallit, which I personally have never heard of. One person said Raisinets, one for Mallow Cups, one for M&Ms, one for Peanut M&Ms, one for Nerds, that is myself, I love Nerds. One is for Nerds Clusters specifically, one is for Snickers, one for Laffy Taffy, and one for Milky Ways. So those are all of the candies that got 1 vote each. And this is not at all an accurate representation for a survey by any means. Skittles got 2, Milk Duds got 2, Candy Corn got 2, so it worked its way up there. I know I hear a lot of people saying they don't like candy corn, but 2 people like it, so must be pretty good. 2 people said Hershey's bars, and 2 people said Twix. So those are all the 2s cleared up. And we have Kit Kat at 4 votes, and for a grand winner at 7 is Reese's, which was not specific to any Reese's product in particular, so we'll just chalk that up as all of them being 7 votes. Then as a surprise, 2 people humorously said that they liked chicken the most, that their favorite candy to eat for Halloween is chicken. Must have been something in the air that day, I think. So that is our collection of votes for what students' favorite candies are. If you want to challenge any of these for the next episode, let us know, and have a happy, spooky Halloween.
Thank you for listening to the Marlin Popcast. Tune in next time for the holiday special.